everyone, welcome to Ask an Armourer. My name's Kia and today I'm going to be taking you along with me on another vlog because this time I am headed off to Denver, Colorado for the Junior Olympics. So I have my toolbox right here, my suitcase here, and my backpack's just over there that I need to grab. But I'm going to take you along with me as I show you a little bit of the setup, so how we make sure that everything comes together so that the tournament can be a success during the tournament, so you can see what it is we do both during equipment check as well as afterwards. Make sure the tournament runs as smoothly as possible, and then during teardown to make sure everything goes back into its storage containers safely and securely, and that whoever is the next group of armorers that receives this equipment will have everything that they need in order to run a successful event. So I'm going to call the Uber now to get to the airport, and I hope you enjoy this little trip. Good morning, everyone. So as you can see, I am here. Everything has arrived safely, luckily. So just doing one last thing, gotta check my bag to make sure I've got everything I need. And then I am going to head downstairs, find some breakfast, meet with the rest of the crew, and then we're gonna head over to the venue to see what we've got for setup this morning. All right, everyone, as you can see, we are in the venue now. So it was a little bit of an adventure getting here. There's about an inch or so built up of snow on the ground, and the hotel is not right next to the venue. It's about a 10-minute walk away. So trying to drag my toolbox through that was, well, let's just say I've already gotten a pretty decent warm-up for the workout that is going to be today. But as you can see behind me, it's not focusing in. They're starting to set up the stages, and the other, oh, there we go, the carpet's over here behind me. So we are going to consult with the rest of the crew, make sure everyone know who is where doing what, and then once the forklifts and our laborers come in, we'll be able to just start dropping things in place, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get all of the pieces laid today so that tomorrow is just running the machines, hanging those up, plugging in reels, all that sort of good stuff. And then we'll have a tournament. All right, everyone, as you can see, we are getting the finals piece all set up. So we have all of our various crates here with the pieces, all of that's getting put together. We are slowly working our way lengthwise and then in. And then behind me, the carpet is going in, and once that is all set up, we already have measured out the starting point for the semis pods. So we will have finals behind me, semis all the way this way. Got more carpet being rolled out there. We got some piece ready to go over there. So yeah, we are just cooking right along. We are almost done with the finals. We are just putting the skirting on, and then we're gonna get the light boxes in front. So one interesting that we've discovered, there's a little bit of the drip. You see these lovely little buckets on the floor? Yeah, there's drips coming from the ceiling. So, you know, if you followed me in Armory for any length of time, you know that I've dealt with water before, and it was not fun. So, hopefully this is just drip that we can be resolved very easily, and doesn't develop anything more. So, as you can see, the carpets are also now coming down. Some of the semis are over here, so we can finish up those soon. Got the coaches' boxes. And AV is getting set up all over here, so we are looking good so far. We are starting the afternoon. It is about 2 o'clock, just finished lunch. I have my 18-inch measuring stick here. This is going to be what we run along, making sure the carpets are already laid and the piece need to be 18 inches off, so this is just a little easier than having to get out the measuring tape every time. We can just run this down and make sure it's still working with it. So behind me, I don't know what this is. So behind me you can see we got a bunch of stuff going on over here. This is a vendor, I think, in front of me here. And then if we just keep walking this way, you can see over here, we got the DTs going on, all of the, well, it's hard to see because it's focused on me and not them. All of over here, all of the carpets laid. We have our boxes ready to go, so we just need to crack them all open and start dropping pieces. So I'm gonna go find my crew. They should be showing up really, really soon, and I'm gonna start doing that. Progress continues. We haven't gotten to that end of the exhibition hall yet. However, all of the semis and finals are done, and these first couple pods are done. There's still some forklifts running around, making sure everything's in place. The vendors are starting to go up. So yeah, we are getting in pretty good shape here. We got a fair bit more to go, but I think we are on good track. And with that, I'm sorry everyone, I have not been able to do a whole lot of vlogging today. I've been running a crew and we've just been ripping pieces out. But as you can see over here, we actually have over here, some of them are actually hung up. But all of them are completely, all of the pieces are completely laid. So all we need to do tomorrow is put the machines and the reels in place, run all the floor cords, and tape the piece down and kick them into place. And then we can have a tournament. So today's gone really, really well. The crew that was helping us out set up was really great and worked really fast. And yeah, so things have gone very smoothly so far. Fingers crossed the rest of it continues as such.
So welcome to day 2 of setup. We have the forklifts going to take all of the various bins back to a storage area by the dock so that they are out of the way after we collapse them down to as flat as possible. And we're just kind of working our way through, setting up all of the machines, reels, and finally at the end you will see that the end cap pieces of the piece are still flipped up. That is so we can put some carpet tape on them and get them to stick down nicely.
We are now done with setup, so all we need to do, we have our table here. This is everything for if we have a strip club. So we got a couple of grab bags and one else of everything else. Over on this side, we have anything that breaks. So we already have some reels being worked on because we found those in our early checks. So we'll get those ready to go. And then afterwards, we're just gonna make sure that everything back here is all cleaned up, ready to go. And we'll set up our stations so that when fencers are coming in to check their equipment early, hopefully there's a lot of them that do that to make our lives easier. We will be ready for them and can just start knocking it out. Okay everyone, here we go. As you can see just behind me, we've got a bunch of fencers. We are just opening up the early check-in. We've already got some people starting off early, which is great. We are really, really hoping to get through a lot of people today, just like we did in Louisville, and hopefully they will come. So we're gonna be here for a few hours. You know, it's just before 4 o'clock now. We'll be here until 7 o'clock-ish or so. So we will keep going and see how many we get through. It is actually about 5:30 now. I am running away from the armory just for a little bit. But yeah, we have opened pre-check. We've been open for a couple of hours now, and it's been pretty good. Like, it's been a not quite a huge crowd, but a definitely steady trickle right now. I personally have checked about 24 people, and if we multiply that out by about the 10 armorers we have on the line, that's not a bad chunk, especially that we don't have to do in the morning tomorrow. So I'm going to head back to the armory, do a quick check on everything as I walk back, just make sure things still look okay, and yeah, see how we're going still. And hopefully we will get a few more people. We're going to be open for about another hour and a half or so. Because again, the more we get done now, the less we have to do tomorrow and in mornings after this, and it'll just make everyone's lives that much easier. Alright everyone, good morning on Friday, which is, I guess you can say day 3 for me if we're not including Tuesday of travel, but day 1 officially of competition start. So as you can see, we're still in the hotel room. I'm just going to throw my shoes on now, head down for breakfast, and then the goal is to get to the venue at about 6:45, with fencers being allowed in at 7 so that we have time to turn on the scoring machines, set up our test boxes, and be ready for the rest of people to show up that were not able to get their stuff checked yesterday. All right, everyone, we're here. It's just about 6:45, and as I'm walking over, I'm coming and turning on all the machines. So the handy part is I just flip the one switch on the power bar on one end of the pod, and all of a sudden all 4 machines are on. So it makes life a little bit easier rather than us having to go each individually to the machines. So it is a fair bit of a walk as we walk all the way up and down everything to get it all turned on. So I'm gonna keep going, get the rest of that done, and head to the armory to get ready to start checking more equipment. So, I really hope you enjoyed the sprinting over to the armory as soon as the doors are allowed open. That's pretty usual for 7 a.m. on the first morning. Okay, everyone, it is just about 8:45 now, and we've been through a lot. It was men's saber and women's epee this morning, both of which are large groups. Luckily, epee stuff clears pretty quickly, but saber, those LeMays take a little while to check. So The line was quite long. It threaded through our little back and forth lineup tagger thingies, and then down across the room. There was a little bit of consternation going on, understandably, but we made it through. The line is now cleared, and yeah. So we are going to keep checking people one off as they come through. I believe the next close is 11, so expecting another wave before then. But hopefully, again, as usual, more people kind of just cycle through during the day, and we will have less in the way of rushes further on through the weekend. So we have these little coffee cups to collect your tags, and yeah, 2 check-ins, and mine's already full. So we're gonna go dump it and re-put it on front of my table. It is 9:15 or so, and we already have our first issue. So, as you can see, we have 4 armorers. I'm just being nosy over here, trying to figure out what's going on because the piece for Saber will not stop going off with white lights. So we're trying to figure out if it's something in the machine, if it's something, because at this point it's a solid white light. Unlike Saber where it flickers white light, which is okay, not great, but okay, they can still fence with it. But a solid white that never turns off, that's indicating probably something inside the machine, which is harder to deal with. All right, everyone, it is just about 1:30 or so now. I've just got back into the venue for after lunch, so things so far have been going pretty smoothly. There's been a few strip calls as we expected, a couple reels that need to be swapped out, brake issue kind of thing. Nothing, knock on wood, too bad yet. So everything, again, well within expectations. We have cleared yet another pretty big group. There was a close at 1 o'clock, so we cleared all of that out. I can't remember the schedule off the top of my head right now. Big yell. We might have one more checklet or big close later on. We'll see. But yeah, so far things are going pretty okay for day number 1 of competition. So fingers crossed it continues to go that way. All right, everyone, if you remember from my Louisville vlog, there was one panel piece that didn't want to cooperate. This is that piece. So what we're doing right now is just realigning that groove. He's got a fine file in there, as you can see he's working on, and that was what he was working on in the clip right beforehand, just to open that back up. And they're just making sure we've got our test pieces out to make sure it actually goes back together properly now. And with that, my day is done. So as usual with these big events and the big crews, the head tech will split up the armorers so that half of us leave early one day and the rest will leave early on another day, just to kind of keep us a little bit fresher and keep energy levels up a bit more. So today is my day to leave early. So it is just about 5 o'clock right now. I'm kind of wandering around the venue, seeing a little bit about what's going on, saying hi to some people. But otherwise, I am going to head back to the hotel, have a nice quiet evening, sort of catch up on a little bit of work that I've been ignoring. And yeah, and then I'll be fresh and ready to go for tomorrow. Alrighty, good morning everyone. It is another fine morning in a currently empty room. As you can see, myself and the other armorers are walking up and down each row, turning on the pods as we make our way over to the armory. And for context, at this point, we are pretty consistently waking up 5:30ish. Breakfast is at 6. The hotel's about a 10-minute walk away, so we walk over sort of 6:30ish, and yeah, do this as we go over to the armory before we get our station set up and get ready for whatever morning rush we should expect. We'll see what we actually get this morning. I don't know what events are scheduled, but we checked a lot of people yesterday, and many people explicitly said they were doing so that they did not have to do it this morning. So hopefully there's a lot of those. Alright everyone, so as you can see, the table is rather bare right now. This is because we put all of our stuff away each evening just as a safety thing. So I've already grabbed our tape machine and our stamp, so I'm going to show you just kind of how I reset up my station. Come on back. So for security purposes, we put all of the big fancy equipment back here, as well as, of course, anything that is official. Now I'm just going to grab my box with the ducks and the sloth, because of course we need those with me at all times. And I'm just going to put it back into place and get my probe back plugged in as it needs to be. I do leave my lame piece here. This I don't really bother to remove, and I don't feel like retaping it every time. It's just the quick thing that we do each and every morning after we have finished turning on all of the machines, so that once the referees and the fencers get here, everything is ready for them. Hi everyone, so it is actually just past 8 o'clock now, and we are clear of the line. Lovely, nobody here. So clearly it worked out that a lot of people got their stuff checked yesterday, so while we did have a fair line, you just saw that in the time lapse earlier, it was not nearly the same stretching all the way across the room that it was yesterday. So we're going to hang out again, same as always. We will be here to check either new stuff people bring us or people for events that are still not started yet. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on a video list. And get photobombs. Say hi to another one of our armorers.
Oh goody, I've got my little pry bar in case the ref gets out.
Alright everyone. First real strip call of the day. We had a couple remote batteries die, but those don't really count. But we have a lame that is apparently not registering anything. So I and my friend Seth here are heading over there to see what we can find. My guess is it's the body cord. Let me know in the comments if you think that's right or what you expect it to be. So in case you didn't hear that, testing on the lame is a white light. Testing on the clip of the body cord is a colored light.
So, did this find on the body cord? It did test on the body cord. Most likely something over here.
Okay everyone, so just for clarity on that last one, so all that Seth did was he moved where the body clip was attaching to the lame. Sometimes there is a very tiny dead spot that you get just where the lame attaches. Sometimes it's just kind of a freak one. The body cord doesn't like that particular area, even though it checks just fine. But he just kind of shifted it over a couple of inches, and that is what caused it to start working again. So there's just a tip for you. If everything seems to be working, just kind of shift it off the area that it's on the lame. Sometimes the bite just doesn't work and you need to redo it. Just put A right here. There you go. No problem. Usually so today has now been a really good day. I got to pet a Chihuahua puppy on the way over this morning. I got to pet a bunny that you just saw, and I just got to pet a French Bulldog. So I am in a very good mood right now. There have been all sorts of cuddly friend encounters today, which isn't really quite normal, and I will happily take this.
And here is pretty much the most common issue that we see on a normal day of tournaments, where something happens, a fencer hits it, a ref trips over it, something goes wrong, that the grounding wire is ripped from underneath the piece and just needs to be replaced. So as you saw at the beginning, the end of this one was pulled off, so we're just switching it out for a different one and taping it down before taking the other one back to the armory for repair.
Alright, so we are back in the armory now, and we have a bunch of these grounding cords that are no longer useful.
Yes, thank you.
Ooh.
That's from the missus.
And cookies.
Right. Okay.
So basically what we're doing is the wires are still fine, they're one piece, and the plug is there. So Karen over here is re-stripping the ends of the wires so that we have contact with it again. And I am grabbing random scraps of the copper rat mesh to attach to it so that we just put these all back together. They're not hard to make, they just break kind of easily, but they're easy to fix. So everyone, as a quick demonstration, here is my end. You can see I've got my copper, I've split it into two halves, and I have my bit of rat mesh. So all I'm going to do now is just put the rat mesh in this little Y, twist these together nice and tightly, and then for some extra grip, I'm just going to take my pliers to really make sure that this is attached firmly. So as you can see now, that's not moving anywhere. And that's it. So now I'm just going to wrap this up. We can put this back in the box and it'll be ready to go to the next piece. Well, that was an interesting about 5 to 10 minutes, because we had no fewer than 3 strip calls all come in very rapid order. So, and all of them at different places. So a couple ground cords that were broken, just like end was snapped off, and a remote without batteries. So nothing horrible to fix, just kind of funny that after a relatively quiet day, all of a sudden, boom, 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 3 came in all at once. All right, everyone. So we just had this reel come back to us, and the brake is engaging too early. So we're going to test it out. Also, that is maybe 3 meters, 3 yards out, if that.
Hey, Al?
So I think we see another problem here. You figure it's an override? All right.
We're going to open it up.
So everyone, as you just heard, we are going to take the top off of this one and see what secrets it might be holding. Again?
What?
Well, that was a huge chunk of lint that just fell out. Yeah, that's an override right there.
Sure he is.
So you can see right there, everyone, there is a pretty large override going on.
Along with dust bunnies.
And yes, dust bunnies galore. We had regular bunny earlier, which was adorable. This, not so much.
Did you take pictures of the bunny?
I did, and video. So as you can see, Seth here is just trying to work back along the wire to find where the override actually happened. Because if we can get beyond that, as you see, look at that, it's going quite nicely now.
Junior men's defense are David Dissamore. David Dissamore, you must report immediately to Lima 4, L4.
Alright, so once we have this cleared, we're going to test it again just to see if that fixed all of the issues or if there are still other issues with it, the brake engaging too soon on this one. No, thank you. Alright, so apparently this poor reel has been through a fair bit. So, Seth, you want to explain what you're looking at right now?
I'm looking at a streak of abrasion that does not make sense.
Why not?
Good question. Because this is the brake line here. That's the outer reel. So that's where the brake rubs, but that thing's real interesting.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the inside, this is actually what the brake looks like. And when it spins really quickly, this flips up, and I can't get a finger at it, and this pad is what presses against the top of the reel cover. So obviously this isn't going to do anything right now. It has nothing to press against, but it does when there's a lid on this.
So here I'm just taking off the brake material, which will give space for the tape to hold onto. There goes the dust bunny. And all we're going to do is this washer is going to prevent the brake from going up past a certain point.
So once again, we're just going to put the lid on. Notice we don't actually have to put all of the screws back in every time and can save ourselves that few minutes of actual effort. So we're going to see if that solved the problem now.
Junior men's fencer Iara Fencer Iara who's reported immediately to Echo 2, E2 immediately.
It really is not close. It's really good, huh? Oh yeah. Usually works. It usually does.
the second washer.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is,
What's that?
Flip it over.
Oh
Where's
my
that boot
goodness.
print? Okay, so it is on the opposite side of the giant boot print.
yeah. Oh, that's like that. This has been flying.
Cool.
Now you have to go for that second washer. Better now.
Yeah.
That's okay. So much more than that.
All right, so after several iterations, we finally found the sweet spot of that little washer. So now that's all that's left is to put it back together. All right, everyone. As you can see and probably hear behind me, we are getting closer to the end of the day. It is about 6 o'clock now. I am sticking around until the end of the day today since I got released early yesterday. So yeah, there's not a whole lot left going on. There's a bit of epee kind of over there. Saber and foil finals are wrapping up over there. So we'll keep hanging out here. If there's anything to respond to, we'll go out to the strips. If there's anybody that pops in, again for tomorrow's checks, we'll keep doing that. But otherwise, I'm not expecting too much right now. Knock on wood, I probably just jinxed us. But yeah, we are definitely at end of day right now. We're wrapping up. So we'll just keep hanging out and seeing what else comes our way. All right, 6:30, we are done with fencing on this half of the gym. So basically everything that's still going on is over with the semis and the finals piece. So doing the opposite of what we did in the morning, we are just coming by, finding the switch. And now this pod is all turned off. All right, everyone, good morning and welcome to day 3 of competition, day 5 for us Armourers. You know the drill by now. We are in the venue about 15 minutes early. We are turning on all the machines at the pods. Then we're going to go to the armory to get set up for the rush. As you can see, things are going really smoothly today. There's not a whole lot of lineup, and fencers seem to be happily fencing. So we are taking the opportunity. Right here, we've got a couple people that a reel has come back. What was the issue on this one?
The referee was correct.
Oh, that is correct. Okay. So while we have a bit of quiet back here, Karen and Seth over here are going to fix this. And then over in this corner here, again, in preparation for loadout tomorrow, we've got a couple people going through our bins just to make sure that everything is well organized and we know exactly how many and where of everything is that we have. So just as a close-up of how bad this is, that's... It's not supposed to look like that. Welcome back. It is after lunchtime. It is just about 1:15 or so. We just had a very small rush of sabers that are getting ready. But yeah, other than that, things are going pretty smoothly. I did have this one reel that I need to replace. As you can see, the clip has come off because one of these screws fell out right there. So all I need to do is just pop that back in, and this will be ready to go again. And once again, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I forgot to do a bit of an outro for yesterday, but hey, we're here again. It was pretty quiet from all that I heard. There wasn't really a whole lot coming in on strip call. And yeah, I was released a little bit early, so I just kind of went back to the hotel to back up all the various photos and videos I've been taking for this. So, you're all very familiar with the drill by now. We are in the venue early, turning on all the machines, making it so that they don't scream at us, because that's just a little annoying, especially first thing in the morning. Oh, here we go. Remember your stuff. Hopefully whoever that belongs to comes back and gets that. But yeah, I'm going to finish making my way to the armory, turning on machines as I go, and then we will get ready for our final day of competition and then teardown this afternoon. Alright everyone, this is going to be a bit of a fun one. We got a strip call that a fencer's epee guard is potentially not passing. So what we need to do, as you can see, is we bring over our fancy dancy tube and other gauge to check that the grip length as well as the angle are all within spec. So for this, all we need to do is make sure the blade is completely vertical, and if it passes through this tube without resistance, it is okay. Since this is not doing that, this fails. So his second one is okay, but his first one was not. Well, one of our tagging machines broke, so we're fixing it. I just responded to a strip call where it was a broken ground cord. Normally, that is at this end, because a fencer trips over it, something, it just kicks off. This one, the plug itself was ripped off, and now we're realizing that's because the actual end of it has been snapped off. We just need to go find a new pin. All right, let's get that one done. So we have a call for a remote that's not working. So we're just going to swap it out and bring the other one back. It's probably just the batteries are a little dead, so the signal's not very strong, but we'll check it out when we get home. We'll see if this audio works, but it is just after lunchtime now, just kind of 12:15ish, and we are starting to think teardown. As you can see, I've got one of our armory crates behind me, our inspection tape over here. I have my various lists going on, so I am going to pack up my personal toolbox just to make sure I've got everything that I have and that I brought. And then I am going to go through and start making sure that all of our various crates are both loaded with the things that they came with and what we expect, as well as once we are able to actually start tearing down pods, I will take the reels and floor cords and just check them to make sure they work before packing them up to send them to the next people. As you can imagine, we don't want to send things that are broken already, because that's just rude to whoever has to use these next. So we're going to make sure that we find all the ones that are not working. We're going to label them and leave them somewhere else so that they're ready to go. If we have time, we'll fix them. If not, we'll just make sure they're set aside. So I'm going to go ahead and start checking my bins, and I will fill you in later. Okay everyone, so far I believe I have everything in the bins that we're done with, we're not using. So down here, all these things here, and then a few things over here, we are still actively using, like the gaffer's tape, the carpet tape, the ground cords, all of that we are still actively using while there's fencing. So I'm leaving them out in a place that is easy to get to so we can use them. But everything else is in here and accounted for, which is nice. So we are making good progress on keeping things somewhat organized. Okay everyone, as you can see, it's just me right now in a very empty armory. So the first couple pods have been released to us, so everybody else is out there getting them right now. I am here, frankly, babysitting the armory right now to make sure that nobody decides that this is a good time to go pick out themselves a new present from our boxes. But also, this means that as soon as they come back with piles of stuff for me, I can start with the inspecting the reels and the floor cords, and also start getting the machines all nicely put away. So, as you can see, we still have some stuff up here that we can use if we need to have anything. These right here are a couple of reels that are already known to be broken. I have labeled them as such. But we just don't have the time, or we've run out of the spare parts to fix them. So they're just going to live there. They're going to go on the top of the stack so that they are the first things to be seen by the next people that open this crate, and they will be able to deal with them then. Okay everyone, we're a go. As you can see, the first pile of reels has come back. I already did the floor cords before I started recording. But I am going to go ahead, I'm going to plug in my test cables to the box, and I am going to start checking all of these out, make sure that they are good to go. Okay, so I have checked all of these now, and these are all set, good to go in the crates. So since I have finished the pile waiting for me, I am going to take a quick break to actually load these into the crates just behind me over there in the corner, so that they are in there packed up nicely and I can get my cart back for when the next load comes in. Now, for those curious about what this looks like, there we go. This is how the reels get packed up. As you can see, they fit really rather beautifully 1, 2, 3 across in the bin. And then we make sure that we've got these foam bits in between them so they don't slide around, as well as we make sure all of the ends are in towards each other so those are not getting bent and broken. So yeah, as I load them, making sure to keep them as even as possible as I can so that this stays a nice flat row for when we pop more stuff on top of it. And for the other half of the equation of reels plus floor cords, here are the rest of the floor cords. So same thing, I check these to make sure they're working, and then each of these we put piles of 40 so we know how many we've got. Once these are full up, we know we've got them all. So these ones down here, this is a pile of 10. That is 8 of a older set that I try to keep separate so that we know that they're slightly less reliable. And there is a partial set. I believe there's 6 in here right now. So everything is just waiting, and then these, once all of these are full, will go hors d'oeuvre on top of the reels. So good news, our crews are arriving, so you can see the forklifts behind me, and we are actually able to start lifting the pieces themselves right now. So I am going to stick around in the armory again, just making sure that there is always somebody here, but also as more pieces come up, I'm going to keep checking the floor cords and reels. Behind me you see I've got a few more on the cart that I can load up, and over here are ones that I have found issues with. So if I have a little bit of downtime, I'm going to see if I can't start fixing some of those so that we send less issues to the next crew. So, bit of a change of pace right now. I have no more floor cords or reels to check, but I do have a lot of these tablecloths and pod letterings right now. So just in the interest of keeping us moving along nicely, I'm going to make sure that these are all so far sorted. I am not entirely certain which ones we have yet back, but I'm going to make sure that we have all 4 of the pod numbers for each letter, as well as just make sure that these tablecloths are folded nicely so they don't get all like wrinkly when we need them next. Here we go, whole new piles to check out. Let's do this. Okay, everyone, so here are all of the reels I have found with issues. I know it looks like a lot, but let me walk you through it. So this pile here, the clamshell is broken, but it's a fairly minor thing, like just a small crack over on this side, away from where the retaining clip is. So because of that, they're still okay to use. It's just I'm putting them here so for awareness, when we get more clamshells, we can just put these together so they're not cracked. This line here, we are having electrical issues, and I know this doesn't seem like a lot, but that indicates something is starting to go, so we should take a look at it when we have a chance. All of these ones, the tubing is getting shredded because the spring has come out of the clamshell. So electrically, they work just fine, but that is going to be an issue if they don't get resolved. Over here, these are the serious clamshell breaks. So they are over here, right by the retaining clip, and that's a lot of metal exposure. So we really, really don't want to use these until we get a new clamshell. And over here, the cable is snagging on something. I don't know if it is overriding on itself or if there is something in this funnel here, but that's going to have to get looked at. So this isn't necessarily something I need to check. However, these are the machines. So each of these cases contains 2 of the scoring machines. So I need to take them from here. I got my little cart here all the way over to there. So here's my crate that I've been putting reels in. This one next to it over here. That is where all of these machines are going, so they can also safely make it home. And as you can tell, everything in its place and a place for everything. So this side is all already super nicely put together. You can see we got 5, 10, 15 on the bottom, and I'm going to put the last one there. We have some of these smaller boxes. These just contain 1 machine each, and they fit super nicely here. And then the last few will just go down the middle. All right, everyone. So it is just about 5 o'clock, and things are, frankly, so far, knock on wood, fingers crossed, I don't jinx it by saying this, going really well. We have pretty much everything except a couple pods, plus semis and finals. And yeah, like, we're just keeping right on going. You can see all of the work being done to tear things down, as well as the fact that it's getting much emptier and much quieter in here. Update for my part, back here I have 1, 2, and it's hard to tell, but this blue one is a 3rd pile of extension cords, and I have had the time to go through and actually sort them into 50-foot pile, 75-foot pile, and 100-foot pile, and put them in and label the appropriate bread bin over there. So that should also help for future setups, just to make sure that you know immediately what length of extension cord you're getting when you grab it. So I'm going to take care of this box next here, which is our extension cords. Power bars. I'm going to make sure that they're all nice and neatly wrapped up, and so they all fit in there, as well as, I can't tell if you can tell, but this white rectangle here is actually a whole stack of 3 plug splitters that are just stuck together. So I'm going to make sure there's no more floating loose in the box right now, so that we all have them in the same place, and add them to that stack. Yeah, so fingers crossed for us to that this keeps going well, and let me know in the comments what time you think we're actually going to be done. Okay, so we are so close to being done. Just want to check in with you, everyone. So down here are all of the good to go reels. So you can pull them out and set them out on the floor. We are all set. All I have left is to load up the reels that I found an issue with, and then we plop the floor cords on top of them, and then this bin is ready to go. Every other bin sort of has 1 or 2 more things left to put in them, and then we are out of here. And amazingly, it is not even 7:45 yet. Like, this is ridiculous how quickly this has been going. I don't think I've ever been to a tournament this size where we've been at this stage before 8 o'clock, or anywhere near this stage before 8 o'clock. So yeah, really happy about that one, and I'm gonna get these reels in here. Alright everyone, and with that, it is just past 8 o'clock, and we're done. All of the armory crates are loaded up. You can see them here along the wall, and there are a couple behind you as well. And now all that's left is to get them on the trucks, and they don't need a crew of 8 people here just to watch the forklift drivers ferry things around. We'd be more in the way than help at that point. So we're all just finalizing packing up our toolboxes and everything, and then we can get out of here. This is frankly incredible. I don't think I've ever left one of these large events this early on pack out day. So if you've been watching, thanks for following along everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video and it answered some questions you might have had about the behind the scenes work of what we as armorers do. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or anything else you would like to know, let me know down below in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.